Two of the most heavily skilled and powerful warriors are set to collide in the form of Jiren and Hit, as the two are set to go one-on-one for the very first time, but the question lingers, can Hit improve fast enough to survive against Jiren in the Tournament of Power? Is time skip going to be effective on Jiren, or just like Son Goku's Spirit Bomb, is Jiren going to prove once again that he is the alpha male that everyone claims for him to be, and absolutely wrecking Universe 6's top gun, and possibly being the strongest warrior in the Tournament of Power? On this video, myself and the Dragon Ball community get together in order to further discuss our thoughts and opinions going into the battle between Universe 6's Hit and Universe 11's Jiren. And again, if you guys are new to this channel, I highly encourage you guys to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a Dragon Ball video is posted onto this channel, in conjunction to news, information, updates, spoilers, and discussions. Hashtag notification squad to be up to date with all the latest in Dragon Ball. So I wanted to go on ahead and take the time to welcome everyone in this Discord chat to the overall discussion, as we are going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super episode 111 spoilers, and pertains to Jiren versus Hit, alongside Goku potentially having to master a brand new technique or move that could ultimately win him the Tournament of Power. Now Daz, I wanted to go on ahead and start off with you and getting your thoughts on two things. Number one, Jiren versus Hit, and number two, your thoughts on the foreshadowing of what may potentially be Goku learning the ability to fight on his feet without having to use his brain to think, similar to how Whis was pretty much trying to insinuate and plant in his brain back during the Resurrection F movie and story. So quick thoughts, what are your overall expectations for Jiren versus Hit, and what are your overall thoughts on Goku having to be severely injured after having to fight Jiren, but then having to remain in the tournament with something happening to his body, in his emotions having to trigger something to where he learns the mastery of a new technique? So for me, I think that going into this, Jiren versus Hit is going to be, if anything, possibly slightly better than Goku versus Jiren, for the simple fact that it's not about power for Hit, it's about techniques. So the question that we're all asking is, can Jiren break through Hit's time skip defenses? Can he break through his cross dimension techniques? So what are your overall thoughts on Hit versus Jiren, and what are your overall thoughts on Goku potentially having to master something that Whis had foreshadowed many arcs ago?
All right, well, thanks for having me on the discussion again.
Always, man. After
like, a month or so. But my expectations for Jiren and Hit, I'm hyped for that, but at the same time, now that we know what Goku's about to do with the self-mastery bullcrap, or Aspel, whatever you want to call it, it kind of just like de-hypes that fight for me, because it's like, if Goku is doing this and this is supposed to allow him to avoid any danger, then like, what is Hit gonna do against Jiren? Like, first we're getting Calican times 20 Spirit Bomb, and then this.
Yeah, fails.
It's like, I'm kind of not as hyped as I was before for Hit versus Jiren, but I expect good things out of that.
So wait, are you saying you already know the outcome of that fight and possibly Jiren beating Hit?
I'm not gonna say Jiren is just gonna downright beat the crap out of Hit, but because we don't know what Hit's bringing to the table. Like, if they're
you're right.
If they're having Hit fight Jiren, then Hit has to bring something to the table. But overall, Jiren, I just feel like he's just gonna body everybody in his path, because like,
so there's nobody that you feel can stand up to this dude right now in the tournament, including Hit.
I mean, I feel that way, but I just don't want to say that, because you know how some fans are.
Right.
You're bullshitting, blah blah blah.
But looking at the overall premise of Hit versus Jiren, seeing that Hit is a very skilled fighter. I mean, people want to downplay him. Thunder's in here. Thunder loves him so much. Thunder actually feels like Hit is going to eliminate most of the top tier fighters in this tournament. Now, I understand where a lot of people are coming from, and I am personally rooting for Hit in at least being able to improve far enough to where he can hold his own against Jiren. But do you think that Jiren is going to give Hit any sort of like room for improvement after seeing what happened with Dispo, or do you think it's going to be a one-shot kill, just not even allowing him to grow at all during that fight?
I mean, personally, in my opinion, I feel like since Jiren knows about time skip and etc., I feel like he's going to apply pressure on Hit as Dispo did, but much more effectively, since Dispo is fodder. So that's how I see it.
So by the end of it, are you saying that Jiren's going to beat Hit, or do you see in some way, shape, or form Hit being able to outlast Jiren to where he goes into battle with somebody else? Or do you think it's just going to be indefinite, one character having to beat the other, similar to Goku versus Jiren?
I mean, I hope it's just not a beatdown. I hope we have like detailed explanations, Hit actually trying to think and overcome Jiren. I hope it's just not a generic, oh, I'm Broly, let me just body you real quick and go on to the next person. That's how I wanted to go down.
Now, the final question I have for you before I move on is, what are your thoughts on this self-mastery technique of Goku having to, you know, fight without having to use his mind or thinking about what he's gonna do? Because this was already foreshadowed long ago, and I don't really have, personally for me, I don't have too much of an issue with this, because this was something to where, yes, it's an ass pull, and I disagree with Goku having to all of a sudden not only gain a new form, but possibly gain a technique that can overcome any obstacle in this tournament. And I think that, for me, that's a complete ass pull, even dating back to when Trunks beat Zamasu, which, again, in and of itself speaks how, you know, uncreative the writers are when it comes down to telling the story. So, in your opinion, do you think that it's necessary for Goku not only to gain a new form, but a new technique that could possibly win him the tournament? Or do you think that it's just something that it's where it shouldn't be implemented in Goku's character, because new form, new technique, what else does he need? So what's your take on the whole mastery of the self-movement?
So for the form part, yes, that was fine, but him mastering this technique that Whis has been talking about since like day one when they first started training with him, it's just complete, it's stupid, like it's utterly dumb. Because, and it's especially bad since they're doing this in the anime first, because in the anime, yes, Whis is training Goku and Vegeta, but Toei Animation does a horrible job at actually portraying and conveying and having Goku and Vegeta represent them actually training under Whis. Like, it just lacks detail. And one of Goku's main weaknesses is him keeping his guard up, right? And this has been like a staple in the Tournament of Power. We've seen him let his guard down. We have fodder like Nink and Ribrianne fighting him and etc. So it's like, I feel like in Toei's head, they sat down and were like, okay, we're bad at writing. Goku has this issue of not keeping his guard up, right? How do we overcome this to where we don't have to write Goku overcoming this weakness over time? Let's have him transform, but at the same time, give him an ability where his body will react on its own without him having to accommodate for keeping his guard up all the time. Basically, he can just disregard his weakness.
He can always drop his guard now and always be on the edge.
Exactly. He can literally not have to worry about keeping his guard up because his body will do everything for him. It's like, it's just a workaround for Goku. Oh, we don't want him, you know, we don't want to write something where, oh, Goku's trying to learn during battle. Let's just have him just be, you know, this dude who can fight without having to think. He doesn't have to think about keeping his guard up anymore, as his training was designed for. It's like, what? Really? And it's just horrible because, like, the build up to this, I wouldn't say the build up. Actually, I would say the build up because, I would say the build up, but like, it's just bad.
So,
like,
so you disagree with the concept entirely.
Yeah, and another thing is that when they reference this technique, they always use Vegeta they always referenced it to Vegeta because Vegeta's main problem was thinking too much when he fights. He overthinks, it slows him down because he's like, oh, should I make this move or should I make that? And it just messes up his fighting. So they use Vegeta as, the representation of this. You remember in the recent chapter, like 27, was it 27?
27 and 28, yeah.
Yeah, Vegeta, he was fighting Whis, training with Whis,
27, right?
And then Whis was like, okay, you gotten better, your movements became more fluid, blah, blah, blah. And then he once again explained, okay, if you try to master this technique, you'll be able to come any danger, you'll be able to overcome your weakness, and etc. And yeah, the manga does a better job at portraying Goku and Vegeta training under Whis with angelic training and having Goku and Vegeta represent this training. But at the same time, it's like, it's not very detailed because one moment we'll see Whis just fighting them and then he just explains something and then that's the end of it. So
there is so much more to go in depth with this because for me as a fan, I'm not trying to crap on Goku. I love Goku as a character, And I do love Dragon Ball Super for what it is, but having them introduce this concept to where now Goku had mastered a technique, if this is true, to where not even Beerus was able to, you know, complete during his course of training, it's bullshit. So I want to go to Thunder. Thunder, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I wanted to get your take, obviously, on Hit versus Jiren. I already know what you may say, but not only that, your expectations for that fight, but also looking at Goku having to master this new technique. What are your overall thoughts on that? Is it an ass pull, or do you believe it's something that's needed for his character? So quick thoughts on Jiren versus Hit. Who do you think is going to win? And your thoughts on Goku's new potential technique that he learns in the Tournament of Power.
So pretty much what I kind of think is going to happen is that in the spoilers, it says Jiren actually goes to Hit, right?
Right.
Isn't that what it says? So that means Jiren's actually been keeping an eye on Hit. Now, everyone in the community has been downplaying Hit, but if Jiren doesn't go for fodder knockouts. Jiren only goes for quality knockouts. Like, he went for Kale, like, he went for Majikayo, but, like, that was a little different since he's not really that OP. So I kind of feel with the fight with Jiren versus Hit, I feel like it's going to be a double knockout because I feel like Goku's going to do a lot of damage.
A double knockout?
Yeah, because, okay, it depends how much damage Goku does to Jiren.
I don't think he's gonna do any damage at all, bro.
Yo, no. I think we're downplaying his form because listen, if Goku
are we
does
talking
enough
about
damage
Kaioken times 20 or going into Limit Breaker? Because I don't think we're gonna see this Limit Breaker power be showcased yet.
No, I think Limit Breaker is gonna be shown when he gets out.
Like in action.
Yeah.
And it's gonna do damage.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And then even that fails to the point where he masters a new technique. Think about that. Is that not an ass pull? Like to the extent where
Alex,
not even an assassin can handle it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Alex.
Yeah, what was that?
That's another thing too. Like that's why I have another problem with this. First, we get the tournament power. It's cool, right? 12 universes opens up, you know, brand new possibilities and stories and new characters, right? But then first Akira reduces the scope of all of those universes by having the quote-unquote 10 strongest fighters represent each universe, and then they get destroyed if they lose. So you already ruined that concept. That's already out the window. And then on top of that, you lower the scope of Goku and Vegeta's training under Whis. It's like I said before, Goku's weakness is keeping his guard up consistently. And their workaround is, rather than having Goku improve, ask questions, and have detailed development with like episodes or manga chapters dedicated to them actually training, performing, and asking questions on how do I overcome this, blah, blah, blah. They simply just have him transform, which somehow miraculously just makes him master a technique where he can disregard having to keep his guard up all the time. It's like, it's just bad. Just bad writing.
But that's what I feel like. So Thunder, you're saying that we are going to see Limit Breaker in action, but it may fail, in which results in Goku having to rely on this new ability. But even then, let me ask you, because I know how much you love Hit, and in the previous discussion video where we mentioned Hit versus Vegeta, you definitively said that you feel like Hit is going to go the distance with a lot of guys. So my question to you is, do you think Hit is going to go the distance with Jiren and possibly winning? Or is he going to get sidetracked by Vegeta? Or is Jiren just going to simply annihilate him, in your opinion?
Okay, first of all, Hit's not going to get sidetracked by Vegeta. If Jiren's coming to Hit, then that means, if let's just say Hit, I don't think he's Jiren level, like on par.
Right.
Hit can clearly body Vegeta if Jiren is taking interest in Hit, right?
Right.
So that pretty much debunks all the people like, oh, Vegeta's going to get his time to shine. Vegeta's going to get knocked out, pretty much. It's over, okay? So then what's going to happen is that Jiren's going to go, him and Hit, depending on how much damage Jiren has taken from Goku, it's going to depend it, because if Jiren's in 100%, then I feel like, I know this hurts me to say it, but I feel like Hit would lose. But if Jiren's been damaged in a sense, I feel like it'll be a double knockout, because actually, yeah, it would be a double knockout. I don't think Hit would come out on top like that, because Hit can adapt. Hit, I think if pushing up to shove, he'll use his killing techniques, okay? Like, it gets someone out, or because he's going to get out, but if you get out Jiren, that's a pretty big knockout, so...
That's going to be a very, I mean, we can all agree that that's going to be a really big Titanic battle, but I just feel like a lot of people, they may be saying, oh, Jiren's overrated, but yo, the stats speak for himself. He's not only taken down Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku, but now Hit as well. So I wanted to move on to Scale. Scale, if you can hear me, I wanted to get your thoughts on Hit versus Jiren, your overall expectations for that, your thoughts on this new mastery of the self-movement technique and just how you feel about that, because not everyone in the community is going to agree with Goku learning this so quickly, because he not only has a new form, but now it's potentially possible for him to have a new ability. So Hit versus Jiren, and your thoughts on this new potential ability that he learns during the process of him being injured.
Thank you very much for having me, Alex.
Always, man.
Really, man, I think that at this point, it is pretty much a given that they're forcing it down our throats that Goku has to win, because it's like they're giving Goku a new transformation, they're giving Goku a new skill out of nowhere, or one that Beerus has not mastered it yet. And keep in mind, Beerus is millions of years old, hundreds of millions of years old, and Goku's what, like 40? It's not conceivable. How in the hell can he achieve in 2 years of training under the Angel of Universe 7 what a god of destruction that's still head and shoulders above him in power, skill, and everything? How can he outclass Beerus in that?
Well, I mean, that's given the sense of where we're assuming that with this new form and ability, that possibly puts him above Beerus. And that's my question to you. Do you think that if this is true, and Goku not only has a new form, but also that same ability, would you say, in your personal opinion, that puts him above Beerus, or on par with Beerus, or below Beerus? Because like you just said, it's kind of unfair to see Goku out of nowhere without, I would say, proper training, because it's not like Goku has not received any training from the gods. He has, but let's face facts, man. Beerus has been training for God knows how long, hundreds, thousands of years, with Whis, presumably, as to where Goku's been training with him for on and off a couple of months, years, however it is you want to look at it. It's still not significant enough. So would you say, if this is true, that puts him above Beerus, below Beerus, or equal to Beerus? And as I said earlier, going back to Jiren versus Hit, how do you see the outcome of that happening?
It is difficult to say, Alex, because it's like every time we think that Goku and Vegeta are going to surpass Beerus, Super just keeps upscaling the God of Destruction, like to make it seem ever more unreachable. But we know that that's a tendency of the series. It's one of the properties of the Dragon Ball franchise, that Goku eventually surpasses whatever wall is stacked in front of him. And at this point, the wall is Jiren. Right now, he has no chance of surpassing Jiren until he goes Limit Breaker form. I do not think it would be wise for Goku to surpass Beerus, because it's like, all right, this is the only reasonable circumstance that this could happen, because your universe is in danger to be erased. You're up against the most powerful mortals of the multiverse. We all know that Goku is one of them, but he's not the most powerful mortal. He's top 6, top 5, but he's not the most powerful. And honestly, man, I feel like Goku has to be put in his place at this point, because it feels like Toriyama is pampering Goku and just allowing him to get away with his mistakes. Jiren has to put him in his place. Goku has to realize the amount of shit he stepped in. He is not taking this tournament seriously. It's going to get him getting a new form literally beaten out of him, possibly due to the damage of the Spirit Bomb.
Right, the Spirit Bomb.
Possibly a Divine Spirit Bomb to get him to his senses, perhaps. And I think that the way that they are introducing this mastery of self-movement, that's an ass pull. I don't think that comparing that to Super Saiyan Rage Trunks, I don't think that Super Saiyan Rage was quote unquote an ass pull.
It wasn't just rage, bro. It was the fact that, remember the whole spirit sword thing? It was like that whole concept was an ass pull. So I'm like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know, rage. First of all, rage was another thing. It's like they never really fully explained the form nor what it was, and then you have him channeling the energy of a few human beings and 2 Saiyans into his sword, and then he merges them also in half. Whereas a final Kamehameha from a Super Saiyan Blue Vegito did nothing. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like a spirit sword chopped his body in
Yeah,
half, but a final
I
Kamehameha
understand.
did nothing. So that's kind of like a similar thing happening here.
I understand. I'm not talking about the spirit sword. That one was an asshole. I'm
Right.
talking about the transformation itself, because we all have to remember, Trunks basically lived his entire life was the apocalypse. His entire life was the Armageddon, and he did train under a god. Of course, it wasn't comparable to what Goku and Vegeta did, which is why I think that Super Saiyan Rage, given that it also had the aura of Super Saiyan Blue, was kind of like the semi-perfect, the semi-installed state of that form.
Right.
So, but for Goku, for Limit Breaker Goku, I think that having a transformation and having a technique that the gods themselves could not master, that's bullcrap. That's a complete asshole. They are basically saying that we have no choice but to expect that Goku is eventually going to win at the end against Jiren. I'm not saying that he is going to win the tournament, because one thing that struck me is that why would they place the two most powerful warriors in the universe survival arc to fight in less than halfway through the tournament? That struck me, and I think that that is to assure that neither of them last to the end, because it's like they are going to damage each other they're going to damage each other so much that it is obvious that Goku is going to damage Jiren in some way, shape, or form.
So you're saying that he is, right? Because I don't think he is. I'm sorry, bro. Like episode 109 and 110, Goku ain't doing shit.
I'm saying if in the special Goku fights Jiren as a limit breaker in his new form, I'm not saying that he's going to beat him.
But do you see that happening?
No, it's like I don't think that he's going to beat Jiren, but I think that he's going to stun Jiren a bit with his power. I think that it would be best if the two of them were equal in power, because if one overshadows the other by too large of a margin, I think that this is like it's way too cliche. But it's like there's no way that Hit is going to go up against a fresh Jiren. The way that they are putting Goku to fight Jiren first is for Goku to emaciate Jiren in some way. I'm not saying that is to ensure that Hit is going to win, because in my opinion, in the way that Jiren has been overhyped in this arc, I don't think that Hit has any chance.
No chance
of beating Jiren, unless Jiren is very severely weakened, like one of his arms or one of his legs are broken or something like that, or he's leaking blood, even though that's not very seen anymore, or he's all bruised up. Because it's like, can you actually see anyone beating Jiren as of right now? Because it's like, even Limit Breaker Goku, there's no guarantee that Goku in his new form is going to be able to defeat Jiren. It's very possible that Goku could break his limits and Jiren could still shit stomp his ass.
Now I want you to hold on to that, because I want to get everyone else's opinions as well. Because I don't know about you guys, but thus far a few of you have said that he is going to showcase that form. I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying that I don't think we're gonna see that form in action yet. But I want to go to Danny. Danny, if you can hear me, you can unmute your mic. Same thing, your thoughts on Jiren versus Hit, your thoughts on Goku's new self-aware technique to where he's able to fight without thinking, because you were one of the few people that said that you believed, in your opinion, that Jiren could solo this entire tournament. Do you still stand by that opinion, or do you think that it's possible for Hit to come back at Hit to come back at Jiren in doing something to where it catches Jiren off guard and possibly gaining the victory?
Well, first off, yes, I still believe it. Jiren could easily just throw everybody out if he wanted to. And I think that Hit is going to get his balls busted by Jiren. There's
no competition.
Yeah, in the tournament, he's gonna lose bad.
But you don't see Hit at all just catching up to Jiren in the slightest or doing anything to where he damages him.
Okay, so we know that how it's gonna go. It's gonna look cool. It's gonna be a cool fight. Hit's gonna go in at him. But overall, we all know that Jiren's got this, and he's just gonna steamroll him.
So
That's
you don't
happen.
see this fight being a back and forth kind of thing. You see Jiren obliterating Hit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So see see now Thunder's a little bit triggered.
No, okay, I'm highly triggered.
Wait, Thunder.
Partly why I said it.
Listen, all of you guys, all you guys are thinking about, will Hit beat Jiren? It's not about beating. It's about getting them out.
I don't care about him beating him. I'm just saying that Hit's gonna get him.
Thunder, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
It's like after what they're doing with Goku and what Goku has placed on the table, it's like, what does Hit have to place on the table to serve to people? You feel me?
He's like he's that character that
his improvement factor, bro. I mean, he's been
shown.
He's been shown aside from Goku Black. Aside from Goku Black, he's been one of the most rapid improving characters that we've ever seen before. Because even during the course, as he fought Goku, right? He complimented Goku and saying, you know, I need you to grow. And he even told him, like, I didn't think that I was going to go this far, but I can even extend my time skip even further now than ever before. Now, I can continuously do this so as long as you're fighting me. And Goku was like, I can't continue because his body wasn't adjusting to it. So going back to Danny, you don't see a similar situation happening. You don't see Jiren beating Hit into the ground to the point where Hit's like, okay, now that I understand what you bring to the table, allow me to show you my improving, time skip factor. Do you see any of that happening?
The thing with the fight between Goku and Hit originally in the Universe 6 tournament was that their power was somewhat comparable. Now, yes, Goku didn't need the power to beat Hit, he needed the speed, but still, their power was somewhat comparable to each other. With Jiren, who's outclassing even times 20 Kaioken Blue Goku, Hit's not even in the ballpark of being anywhere close to Jiren. So he can improve all he wants, but at the end of the day, he's not going to be anywhere close to where Jiren's at right now.
Okay, fair enough. And your initial thoughts on Goku's mastery of the self-movement technique. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Ass pull or logical?
Well, I mean, it's definitely an ass pull. They're probably going to explain it as, like, since he transcended into godhood or something like that, he somehow just learned the technique. Sort of how a Hakai just somehow knows the Hakai. That's
similar to the manga, how he knew the Hakai against Zamasu and whatnot. I agree with you. I think it's an ass pull, but I want to go down the list real fast and ask other people stuff. So, D Stride, I don't know if you can hear me, D. If you can unmute your mic, I want to get your thoughts on Hit versus Jiren and your thoughts on the self-movement technique. Is it an ass pull? Do you agree or disagree? Because most people disagree. Other people do agree with it because it's been foreshadowed. So, what's your take on Hit versus Jiren and Goku's self-movement technique?
Well, first I'd like to say thank you for having me on.
Always, man.
So Jiren versus Hit, I would have to say, obviously Jiren would just knock Hit across. You just knock him around, play with him a bit. Like, Hit stands no chance.
No chance at all. You don't see him improving, because right now the only person that's giving Hit a chance is Thunder, in saying that there is a slight chance to where he can improve, he can catch up, he can possibly deliver a better battle than how Goku did. But do you see that happening, or do you see Hit just getting slugged out, just no competition at all?
I could see Hit like improving bit by bit, but it won't be enough to beat Jiren.
Damn.
Like, Jiren's probably not trying at all.
Okay,
Like,
let me ask
if you could take...
Thunder's back.
Okay, listen. With Ribrianne and all those fodder fights, do you see the spoilers mentioning them at all? No, they're irrelevant, so they don't mention them. With Jiren versus Hit, with those hype fights, it doesn't matter who wins, okay? Let's just say in a hypothetical situation, Jiren wins, okay? Then, you wanna know what will happen? Jiren will be very injured due to Hit, and then some random can knock him off, okay? So, I feel like you guys are completely underestimating Hit. Hit can come in clutch. He's not like weak. I'm not trying to be a Hit fanboy.
He can come in clutch against somebody relative to his power, not somebody that outclasses him by probably thousands of times.
Sure, I can comprehend that Jiren might win, but I can't comprehend some of you guys saying that Hit might lose to Vegeta.
Well,
Like, that's
the
uncomfortable.
factor from that goes to where a lot of people can bring back the whole concept with Dispo, the whole concept of times 10 Kaioken, which we're going to touch up on just in a little bit. But Stride, so you're saying that in this scenario with the Assassin and the Pride Trooper, you don't see Hit doing anything. What about maybe improving his time skip? Do you see his time skip having any effect, or do you see this being a similar situation? I don't know if you remember when Goku had a rematch with him and he broke through his time skip barrier. Do you see a similar situation like that happening, or what's your take on that?
Well, for my take on it is that I see Hit putting up some sort of a fight, because albeit Hit is not dumb. Like, he's not like Goku.
He's not.
Like, he fights differently. So like he's gonna use his brain, not overthink his fight, but he will use his time skip and some of his techniques to his advantage to put up some sort of a fight for Jiren. But Jiren, most likely on plot, Jiren is gonna win. Like,
Okay.
even if based on plot, Jiren is going to win. Like,
Okay.
there's no chance.
Going back to the whole self-movement technique, ass pull, or is it logical from a standpoint to where it was foreshadowed, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I believe it is an ass pull, but if the writers actually took the time to write it properly and actually make it make sense, it could be a cool idea. It would be a cool concept.
I disagree with this happening so quickly. I mean, I think that I don't want to make this video about Vegeta, but for Christ's sake, man, as soon as they're on par, Goku manages to skyrocket beyond him, beyond any measurable standard. So I noticed that Emish is here, and I know he probably has a lot to say. So Emish, if you can unmute your mic, I want to get your thoughts on this, because I saw you made a video about this, and I want to get your thoughts, because we went kind of back and forth on Twitter earlier on in the morning. I know you believe it's an ass pull. I think it is. I think it's probably going to be something to where he gets a new form and a technique, and I think it's just dumb. But looking at the fight between Jiren and Hit, how do you see that happening? And just your take on, is it an ass pull that Goku learns this self-mastery technique, or is it logical from a standpoint to where it was foreshadowed?
All right, so what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. I think the thing with Hit versus Jiren, well, Toshi already confirmed that it's going to be a very violent battle, right?
Thank God.
So we could expect, yeah, thank goodness.
Right.
So we could expect, for the actual fight not to be one-sided. And I think we've talked about this before when we first did our Jiren versus Hit video. We did one on my channel, I think we did one on your channel as well.
Yeah, we did.
And we both agreed that there's no way, after all the time that's passed, every time Hit was showcased, which is basically 2 times, in the University 6 and 7 tournament, he improved so drastically, right?
Yeah.
He pushed Goku far beyond his limitations. He's the only fighter to push Goku to a Kaioken times 10. Nobody else has done that.
Yep.
And then another thing is, when we saw him again, where he was hired to kill Goku, he had a new technique. So we assume that in this tournament of power, there's no way that he will come into this tournament with the same old bag of tricks, especially if you know he's going to eventually, or he may eventually fight Goku, or someone stronger than him. So with that being said, I gotta agree with Thunder by giving Hit an actual chance to actually fight Jiren. I feel like he does have some new techniques. I don't think they would just, based on what we saw, based on what we, the spoilers that became today, none of us expected that. But I feel like I gotta give Hit the benefit of the doubt that he may be able to do something against Jiren. Am I saying he's gonna win? No. Jiren is expected to win hands down. But I do like the idea that if Toshio is saying the fight will be a very violent fight, I would imagine that at least Hit would put up a decent fight, which I'm really looking forward to. As far as the whole ass pull thing, hands down it's an ass pull. Like I said, it's not that I hate Dragon Ball or I hate Goku. It has nothing to do with Vegeta, because who cares about Vegeta at this point, right? Goku has always been like the symbol for exceeding limitations or pulling stuff out of the hat. And we all expected the new form to be strong. We all expected, for him to just, be able to fight Jiren. But since Dragon Ball was introduced, since this whole concept of mastery of self-movement was introduced, both in the anime and manga, it was depicted to be something you had to earn and you had to train to achieve. So meaning you could actually achieve it as a Super Saiyan Blue. You could achieve it in your base form. Hence why Whis wanted them to train in their base forms. Now all of a sudden now we have a transformation that not only is allegedly at least going to make you stronger, but it literally allows you to move on your own. I think Jiren
I was joking about this earlier. I think Jiren beat the shit out of Goku so bad that Goku's body just started to rebel against him and say, you know what? Let me just take over. I got this. You know, just take a back seat. You know, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So much so to the point where it's like Goku, who never has his guard up, right? It's such a cookie cutter build for Goku at this point. It's such a cop out to the point where he never has his guard up. So now let's give him a transformation that not only makes him OP as fuck, right? Like, but let's give him a fighting style that makes him angel level, like, you know, Whis level, to the point where it's just insane. Beerus hasn't mastered it. You would assume that if he's been alive for, let's say, 500,000 years, he has to have at least trained for 300,000 of those years. And then Goku just comes out, you know, out of the brew, like, you know, Devil Artemis always says.
And for anyone out there that's gonna take what you just said about him being angel level, he doesn't mean on a literal basis. He means to the point where not even a Hakaishin was able to learn what an angel was trying to teach him. So please don't misconstrue anybody's opinion in here, because again, these are all opinions from just regular Dragon Ball fans, just like all of us. So, my last question to you is: do you think that the hit fight with Jiren is gonna be better than the one with Goku, considering what we know from him as a fighter? Because Goku's more or less like we saw the previews. It's coming up in a few days. They're gonna go back and forth, but Hit is more or less the type of guy that waits for you to come in, and Jiren has sort of like a similar style. So, would you say, in your opinion, that fight's gonna be more Titanic on a caliber to where it's more brutal than the fight with Goku, or do you see the fight with Goku being a bit more brutal than the fight with Hit and Jiren?
I could actually see Hit being given the green light to actually go at Jiren, almost as if with the intent to kill.
Wow,
I'm not saying he's.
Ooh, I'd love that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not saying he's gonna try to kill Jiren. I'm just saying he's the only way he's gonna have to, you know, be able to fight Jiren is if he goes at him with the intent to kill. And granted that Hit did push Goku this far, you know, he's pushed him to his max before. Jiren's doing the same thing. He's the only other character to do that. A lot of people say, what about Murtzamasu? Well, Murtzamasu never really pushed Goku that far. He pushed him to the point of fusing, but never this far, right? And that was a much bigger threat back then. So now I would like to assume that Hit does have something that he may, you know, force Jiren. I don't want to say to try, but because the fighting styles are different. We have time skip, Toki Tsubashi, we have the intangibility, you know, it goes right through you and stuff like that.
Right.
Which Jiren, by the way, has observed. So with that being in mind, you have to think there's no way Toshio would say the fight would be violent if we saw Jiren observe Hit, and if Hit knew that Jiren was observing him, and there's no way Hit doesn't have something up his sleeve. So I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it'll be equal, because the 1 hour special, remember, obviously it's not gonna be a full hour, like based on commercials and stuff like that.
Right, 40 minutes, yeah.
And then another thing is that we know Brienne is gonna be a part of that first hour. So with that, it's kind of like, well, yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, well, you know, I don't think it's gonna start getting good maybe towards the end of 109, going into 110, then towards the end of 110, he transforms. And that's what Hit jumps in. And then we have episode 111, which is supposed to be about Hit versus Jiren, but this bullet information we got only says Hit versus Jiren. It doesn't even say anything else. I think that what stole the spotlight was the whole concept of
Goku,
you know,
yeah,
Goku's
he's injured, but yeah, he's still functional in this tournament. And I don't think anyone in here,
an autopilot.
I don't think anyone in here had definitively made the claim to where Hit's gonna get wrung out. So that's kind of good, because people are gonna misconstrue. They're gonna say, "Oh, are you saying that Jiren's gonna knock out Hit out of the ring?" No, we're not saying that. We're saying that there's still 30 minutes left, so anything can happen. But in a situation to where it's a fight, Jiren's gonna win, but that doesn't mean that Hit's gonna be wrung out, because remember, he can come in at any given moment. So I want to go to Max plays YT. What was that, Amish?
Before we move on, honestly though, Jiren didn't knock out Kale, and because of that, look what happened. Her and Caulifla ended up knocking off 5 Pride Troopers, and once again, he doesn't knock out Goku, and Goku's gonna come back in autopilot mode and just.
That's gonna be very interesting. I swear to God.
Super Saiyan autopilot.
No, it really is. I want to go to Max plays. So Max, what's your thoughts on Hit versus Jiren? Who do you see winning? And just your thoughts on if the self-movement technique is going to be an ass pull or something to where you think it's logical based on the foreshadowing from Whis in many arcs ago. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, Hit versus Jiren, I think there'll be a very interesting fight, because Hit is like really smart when it comes to techniques, because he knows how to catch on really quickly. But then Jiren knows all the things that are going on, like he knows what's gonna go on and what's gonna happen. But like Hit is so much weaker, and I think power is what makes the difference here. But I mean, strategy does make a difference. Like, say for example, Hit versus Goku in the Universe 6 arc, Hit was like much weaker than than Goku, and he pushed Goku to like Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan Blue.
Right.
And then Dispo is like weaker than Hit, but still Dispo caused trouble to Hit because of the tactics.
Yo, we have a little MS Junior, bro. I like this guy. No, go ahead, go on.
I'm hurt.
So yeah. All right. So yeah.
But I mean, looking at that from an overall power structure, you're saying that Hit is nowhere near Jiren's caliber in terms of power. But what about techniques? Like are techniques even like relevant anymore?
Yes, techniques are, because like Hit's time skip like caused Goku much trouble. Like, you know how much weaker Hit is, like weaker to Goku, but he's like using the tactics, and that's why he's like matching up to him. And like Goku said, like when they had their fight, you're always one step ahead of me, Hit. You're always one step ahead of me.
Is he going to be one step ahead of Goku in this fight with Jiren, you think?
Well, I think Goku will be a step ahead of Hit, but like, you never know. Maybe there's gonna be another ass pull out of Hits, and he's gonna like use a new technique, like an ass pull like really OP.
How many more ass pull? I mean, well, Hit is known, and I'm pretty sure you've seen this. Hit's known for striking vital points. I mean, we saw when he fought Vegeta, he asked the ref, he was like, check if he's alive. I mean, is he dead? So my question to you is it possible to where Hit can possibly aim for his vital points and weakening him and not potentially killing him, but bringing him down to the point where it's similar to Vegeta when he knocked him out? Do you see Hit using that kind of like a skill set going up against Jiren, or do you think that it's going to be like a very one-sided fight to where Jiren just mollywops him?
Well, I mean, like, it would be hard to hit Jiren in a sense, because like Jiren is so self-aware and fast and like strong, so he'd probably like dodge it, but even before like he tries to hit him. But like that depends. If like he hits the vital points, then like he like weakens him down, and then he'll like stall Jiren for like Goku to recover from passing out. And then when like Goku like comes back up, he's just gonna be like, I'm ready with my new form. He's just like, Hit's just gonna be like, oh, and you take it from here, I'll go rest. Maybe they're gonna like team up or something.
But yo, look at the way you're structuring this. It's like this makes Jiren out to be the biggest monster in this tournament, because you're having two top guys fight him off side by side, and it's just like it has no effect. But I want to ask you about the self-movement technique. Is it an ass pull, or do you believe, in your opinion, it's logical based on what Whis was telling Goku many arcs ago?
Well, I mean, like, you see, that's kind of an ass pull, because like Goku, he's been training for only a couple months, maybe even a year, and like Beerus has been training for like thousands of years, and he still hasn't mastered that self-movement. So for Goku to master self-movement in a year or months with just Whis, that is so stupid in my opinion. Like, Goku would be too OP. Like, everything would end instantly if he got that ability just now. Like,
yeah, you might as well end Super, bro. He's gonna max out his powers against the deities and everything. Like, that's kind of dumb. But like, let's say, for example, if it is the same exact concept to where Whis was telling Goku all this time, with this new form and this new technique, does Goku stand a chance in winning, or just winning indefinitely after that? Okay, well, I mean, so that's the end of the Tournament of Power after that. Okay,
he has a chance in winning. We don't know if he's gonna win, but like, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Goku
with a new form and a new
higher
ability,
chance
and he
of
still loses, that would be kind of like terrifying. I mean, that would go as far to show that I think, looking at it from that narrative, it's safe to assume only then, if Jiren still beats Goku with a new form and technique, that it's highly possible that the mortal that the gods were referencing is possibly him. But that's for another video. I wanna go to Spiral, because I know you're in here, Spiral. Quick thoughts: Jiren versus Hit, and your thoughts on the self-movement technique. Is it an ass pull, or would you say it's logical in your opinion?
I just want to say, I would think Jiren would have the advantage at this fight.
No?
Because Jiren has been... Shit.
So you're going with Hit on this one?
I'm going with Jiren.
Okay.
Yeah, because Jiren has seen Hit's adapting abilities and time skill, because he's been watching him fight Dispo and the other Pride Trooper, who was fucking irrelevant.
But going into that fight, like, you don't see Hit doing anything, because I mean, there are a few people in here that believe that he's either going to stall for time, or he's going to be introduced to a new ability or something. But like, what's your take on this? Because I don't think that, in my opinion, yes, I think that Hit's gonna get beat, but he's not gonna get wrung out. He's not gonna get like badly injured. I think that he's gonna get beat to the point where he's gonna recover big time. And once, I'm telling you all, once this man, like, you give him a short little window of opportunity for him to improve, it's over, man. So do you see that happening to where he gets beat up and then ultimately improves drastically as the tournament continues towards its conclusion? Or do you see him getting beat down to the point where another character is introduced, like Vegeta or somebody that takes over, and then possibly having to ring out Hit as the tournament continues?
Oh, I really do see him improving all over Jiren, but the fact that I see Goku going Limit Breaker, I kind of feel like Goku's going to interrupt that fight, because you know he interrupted his fight with Dispo. So that if Goku's that type of guy, he's going to probably do the same thing in the middle of that fight. Like the fight won't probably like in the way like it was supposed to be, but you know Goku just always likes to interrupt shit.
Right.
Even Vegeta's goddamn fights, because they always doing rock paper scissors on some dumb shit.
So what's your take on this whole self-mastery gimmick? Like, is it an ass pull like everyone agrees, or do you think that it's something to where it makes sense for Goku's character?
It's a fucking ass pull. I'm going 100% on this, because there is no way that you get a trick. First I want to say is, I kind of feel like when Goku gets this new form, it'll probably end up Goku versus Jiren going to end up the same way as Super Saiyan God Goku versus Beerus. It's going to be going neck and neck. Just like Goku just gets a new form, and then they just start going neck and neck at each other. I really don't see I really don't see Goku just going that, just breaking his limits all the way up to like angel level, such as just letting his body just take over like he's some goddamn fucking Buzz Lightyear.
I mean, you have to look at it like, where the hell does this leave everybody else in the show? Like, cause like if Goku goes this far to learning so many things, like where does this put everyone else? I think that looking at this, if this is true and he does gain a new ability with a new form, it's like, bro, you can't just help but say to yourself, okay, Goku may win this. Because for anyone out there who believes that it's possible for Gohan to achieve a higher form or something during this, I think your chances now of seeing that is very slim, because they're giving Goku everything. I mean, then again, it's like, this is Goku's tournament. I think a lot of people fail to remember that. But I want to get Sinister's thoughts. Sinister, if you can hear me, I want you to unmute your mic. What's your take on Goku versus Jiren, or at least Hit versus Jiren for that matter, and just your overall thoughts on this whole self-movement technique, and if you believe that it's logical, or if it's something to where it's a complete ass pull?
Alright, so for the Hit versus Jiren fight, I think with the whole Goku and what he's about to do, apparently based off the spoilers and how the fight's gonna go down and how it's a 1 hour special, I believe it kind of undermines the Hit versus Jiren fight to a certain extent, because with Jiren being showcased as being like way stronger than Kaioken times 20 Super Saiyan Blue, when Hit by himself is just comparable to regular Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and Jiren is over 20 times that, you're thinking, how could Hit ever stand a chance against him in an episode? But what I rationalize out of this is that for the episode, they're gonna give Hit something that'll put him above what we've seen so far, and will give him a shot at lasting in the whole episode against Jiren. Because you can't just have a Hit versus Jiren episode for 23 freaking minutes and just have Hit get steamrolled like that. Like, to all the people saying that you can't make it, you can't hype it up if it's not going to be a hype fight, if you know what I mean. Like the whole Goku versus Hit rematch. I mean, Hit was getting the better of Goku, but at the same time Goku was learning, and it was pretty lit, especially the rematch. But you can't just hype something up and just have one person get one-sidedly destroyed. Like, it doesn't work like that.
So what about this new technique potentially that he's gonna learn? What's your take on that?
All right, so for the new technique, I do think it's kind of an ass pull, because like when you transform, you don't expect a new ability, especially when it's OP as this, that was clearly depicted as being learned through constant training, as it's stated by Whis back in ROF, and even in the manga when Vegeta was trying to do it against Beerus, and how Beerus was doing it against the other Kaishin, and Beerus still hasn't mastered it, which implies that it's mastered through training. Yet Goku's all of a sudden just gonna get it from getting thrashed by Jiren. Like, it's spoon feeding if you ask me. Like, the new form is one thing, but a technique that would put him at the epitome of fighting that we know of. Like, nothing comes above the automatic reaction or the mastery of self movement, whatever you want to call it. So basically, like when Image said, it put him on the angelic level, not in terms of power or anything like that, but just in terms of being a fighter. Like, it's the ass pull because Goku, there was no build up to it. We haven't seen Goku train with it at all. At least in the manga, we've seen Vegeta try to do it against Beerus, and we see Beerus actually doing it against the other Kashi.
Yeah.
But in the anime, we see nothing of the sort from Goku or Vegeta. So it's just random, and that's the main problem with it. Now, the cool thing about it, though, is just like none of the other forms, barring Super Saiyan God, ever had anything unique to come with it. Like, Super Saiyan, it was just enhanced abilities of the base form. Super Saiyan 2, enhanced abilities. Super Saiyan 3, enhanced abilities of Super Saiyan 2, etc., etc. Super Saiyan Blue, just Super Saiyan on God terms. But Super Saiyan God was the only form that had something unique that come with it. Like, it had healing, had the ability to get stronger throughout the fight, etc., etc. And it had the ability to absorb energy like in the movie. Now, in the anime, it didn't have that ability, but it still had the other abilities that I mentioned earlier. In this limit breaker form, it has its own ability, which is the mastering of movement, self-movement thing. That's what I find cool about it, but at the same time, I don't like the fact that Goku has this so soon, and I don't like the fact that it will basically put Goku that he doesn't need to train in the realm of fighting anymore. He just needs to get stronger. So basically, he just needs to hit the weight room, and that's all he needs to do to get as strong as whatever he wants to be.
See, that I disagree with. I really don't. I don't want. I mean, I like Goku, but like giving all of this to him so soon, I don't know, man. I don't see what the outcome of what may play out after this tournament can be, because if that's the case, don't you guys agree the next kind of high tier caliber fighter that's supposed to be placed up against Goku is gonna be like an angel? Because who the hell, who is gonna be on a comparative level to him? Exactly. That's if he's gonna be like on that kind of like a tier.
Remember we mentioned this like way back too, Alex?
Yeah, we did. Oh my god, yeah. we joked about it on the Discord. We were like, hey, imagine if they kind of give Goku's like some powers to where it's like it rivals like an angel or something, or at least
talk about like if Goku was put on this level, where does this go with his character development?
And people forget this is a very serious technique, because remember what we said. Goku and Vegeta were like, yo, how do you function? And he was like, well, the way I fight is I don't think, I go with the motion. And remember, he fought 2 base form Saiyans alongside Super Saiyan Blues, and as he fought Super Saiyan Blue Goku in the gravity room, he trashed him, and he wasn't even attempting to try, and that was him just moving along with the flow. So I want to open up the floor right now to everybody. If anyone has any final comments to add, you guys can share them now before we go. So any final thoughts on Goku versus Jiren, or at least Hit versus Jiren before Goku versus Jiren, and just your overall thoughts on the self-movement technique that Goku may learn?
Can I talk?
I want to comment on something, Alex. I said something on one of Imish's streams, and that is many people were suspecting of what I said, but it's like I said that if they continue to give Goku these ass pulls, by the end of Super, he's going to end up surpassing Zeno.
Oh, hell no.
Bro, stop.
No,
hell no.
That's not what
Well, I mean, well, then again, it's like Zeno in terms of power. He's not a fighter.
That is not
has
what
the
I
ability
want.
to
That is
wipe
not
you
what
from
I
the
want. But if
face
they
of everything.
keep on
Right,
doing these assholes, because you have to imagine, if this transformation surpasses the gods of destruction,
that's assuming.
Next up is the angels,
right?
And let's include the great priest among the angels.
He would be after that, because remember the angels.
Yeah, I know, but
Alex.
he's still an angel. He's the head.
I don't see Goku getting anywhere close to that, man, bro.
I do not want that either, bro. I do not want that either. But it's like they're pulling ass.
Well, yeah, no, but you're saying if we continue this course of direction, that down the line Maybe. I mean, you're right. Like, to a sense, you're right. Because, hey, let's give Goku everything, right, guys? Just fuck all the other characters. Let's just give Goku Super
Goku's
Saiyan
like
12 and all.
He's the main character.
I get what you're saying. It's like, why not give everything to Goku now? I get that. And that's kind of wrong. Because it's like, what about Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, Frieza? What about fucking Frieza,
Can you imagine something else, Alex?
Krillin.
Imagine if they give Goku the Hakai as well.
I mean, that happened in the manga, but Soulja.
Imagine if they do it in the anime as well.
I want to see if Soulja has anything to add. Soulja, if you're in here, do you have anything to add about Hit versus Jiren?
Yeah, I believe the new form. I'm just gonna cut to the chase and go right to it. The main thing has been about the new form, not really.
So what about the new form?
All right. I agree with the last guy.
Also, bro, your mic's kind of like you're dying out. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you're getting Hakai.
Yeah, you're dying.
Yeah, you're dying out.
You're drowning.
You're dying out.
Bitch, you drowning.
Someone get Mercy.
Yeah. What were you saying?
You get me now?
Yeah.
What I was saying was I agree with the last guy saying about the abilities of the forms. Since we not like, I know nobody won't use GT as canon, but like the forms could have abilities, like the Super Saiyan God forms could have an ability like the one like off of the movie and like the series. It could have an ability that we don't even know about because it's so new.
You mean Limit Breaker?
Yeah, the Limit Breaker form. Like it could have the ability, like be able to move without noticing. Like it could have that ability.
Oh, so you're saying the form may come with that ability?
Yeah, like the form may come with that ability. Like
he's saying it like Super Saiyan.
Yeah, cause like I was keep on thinking about it because everybody was keep on like saying about the form all day, and my take on it is cause Goku always adapt to everything, and when he's like I guess unconscious and he transforms to a new form or something like that, even in his Zoro form or anything, like he gets a new set of moves or a new power or something.
See that? Well, then you're gonna have to give that to Vegeta then, because I mean Vegeta's
been left in the dark.
See,
yeah,
that's what I love about Vegeta.
I give Vegeta his awesome.
Well, in my opinion, on the Hit matter, I think everyone knows Hit can adapt and improve, but Jiren saw Hit fighting Dispo,
right?
So Jiren already knows about Hit's improvement,
right?
And I think Jiren can take Hit out faster than Hit can improve.
Well, yeah. Well, but then again, that goes back to what people are saying is allowing Hit to have a more arsenal of moves to where he's introduced with also new abilities that can catch Jiren off guard just momentarily to give him a chance. I would say.
Listen. You know what? You know what I think? You know what I think though?
Form and the technique are one and the same. Like the transformation is the technique, but I don't think it makes sense that he has it because like gods have trained for millions of years and still don't have that ability.
Yeah, that's true.
If Goku has that power, then how are they gonna introduce new villains?
See, you know what I think? You know what I think about this? Like,
Max is up.
Going back to the I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm sorry, but like
I'm done.
See what I'm going here? Goku's gonna lend some of his limit breaker power to Hit, for the Hit versus Jiren
there's
fight.
no way.
Maybe that'll give him a little bit of a chance.
He's still trying to recover. He's badly damaged from this. If people think that Spirit Bomb explosion was light, bro, I mean, just because he emerged from that doesn't mean anything. I mean, he's hurt. I mean, how could he not be? But the thing is, it's like, I don't see the gods, nor his own teammates, nor Zeno giving him power, nor do I see Goku giving anyone else his power because at the end of the day, man, it's be or be killed.
Of power, but you know how generous Goku is. He's really nice.
But in a situation like this, man, I don't think so. But so far,
but it's a possibility. You never know. Maybe I'm right.
But I mean, just for that, I don't see it happening because think about the outcome of what may happen if, let's say, for example, as a hypothetical, Hit rings out Jiren, and here you're about to fight a guy that is potentially stronger than you are right now just based on you giving him your energy. It's like, where do we go from there? It's like you're bound to be crushed from this. But this video was pretty long, and we are gonna definitely do a part 2 from this. I hope you guys are excited for this week's episode and next week.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm hyped.
I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I mean, this conversation could have kept going, but this already is probably as long as we ever did before.
Yeah,
I want to thank you all so much for joining me. If you guys are new to the channel, punch that subscribe button, enable notifications because YouTube is pretty drunk. Thank you all so much for joining me. If anyone out there has any different opinions to share in comparison to everyone else that's in here, drop your comments down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be seeing you all in the next video. Take it easy.
Super Saiyan Autopilot.
Peace.